Okay, folks, we're back. It's lunchtime. Everybody's hungry. Saturday afternoon, you're hanging out by the pool. What's the one thing you're looking forward to? It's that steak. We've got some beautiful steaks here in front of us. Rachel's gonna help me with this. We're gonna prep these things. We're gonna go to a hot grill. We've got the grill fired up. It's going really well right now. And we're ready to put some steaks on. So what do you think?
I mean, they look delicious, but I am noticing one thing, and that is, correct me if I'm wrong, but we have two different types of meat here.
We do. And what we did is we're trying to do something a little bit different today. This is a T-bone. Everybody knows what the T-bone is. You got the bone going across and the bone going down. This is called the steak that everybody really likes because you get two steaks for one. On this side is a New York strip.
Okay.
On this side is filet mignon. So now you've heard of porterhouse and you've heard of T-bone. The difference between the T-bone and the porterhouse is the T-bone is at the very end cut of the entire loin. And so what happens is when the filet gets smaller, it's a T-bone. When the filet is bigger in the center, it becomes a porterhouse. Only difference is it's going to be cut, the filet is going to be bigger. It's going to look exactly like this, only the filet is going to be bigger. If the filet is big, it's a porterhouse. If it's small like this, it's T-bone. But this is going to be very, very tender. This is the filet, New York strip. So we got two steaks separated by a bone. Very good piece of meat. Here we have the ribeye.
Okay.
So we have a ribeye. This is one that people call it a heart attack on a plate or other things because look at the fat and the marbling that we have in it. We're looking for all the marbling because that's what's going to make this juicy. Now in the meantime, the thing I look for when I go to the store is this little muscle right here. This muscle, you see that big hunk of fat right in the center? I'm looking for that piece that goes around it. That is called the sternalis muscle. So in layman's term, it's called a ribeye cap.
Okay.
So I love that part right there. So on each end, they get smaller. In the center, they get bigger. So when I go to the store, I'm looking for this. This is the most tender piece of muscle on that entire cow. We're gonna prep these things and get them ready for the grill.
All right, Jim, so I'm noticing in our little cute hammer style bowl here, it has what appears to be olive oil.
It is. And the reason we're using that is we want to make the salt and pepper adhere to our steak.
Okay.
And we don't want our steak to stick to the grill. So a couple of tips. If you brush it with this, and we're gonna brush it on both sides, we're gonna put salt and pepper on it. Only thing we're gonna put on this steak today is salt and pepper, old school, traditional way of cooking a steak with a nice hot fire with a nice smoky finish to it. So what's gonna happen is normally I use duck fat. I love duck fat when it comes to cooking beef, but today we're gonna use the olive oil. The olive oil is gonna be real easy. Now I'll give you a little tip and a little trick. The reason we're gonna do that is it's two things. It's gonna make the salt and pepper stick. Second thing is, it's going to keep it from sticking to our grill. All right, so now, if you don't have olive oil and you're at somebody's house and they've asked you to step up to the plate and grill and they don't have all the necessary requirements that you need, you're going to learn another tip today. So you're going to take your steak and you're going to take it with the tongs, and when I put it on the grill, I'm going to slide it back and forth 2 inches for 3 seconds. So when I put it down, I'm just not going to set it there. I'm going to put it down and drag it back 2 inches, slide it forward 2 inches, drag it back, and then when I do, I'm gonna drop it and let it go. And when I do, it'll never stick. Otherwise, what do? We take a piece of chicken breast or we take a steak out, we put it on a hot grill, cold meat, what does it do? Sticks. We spend the next 30 minutes fighting to try to get it turned loose. So this is what this is gonna do. It's gonna prevent all that. So you're putting a nice little coating of olive oil on it. Doesn't have to be much, just enough. Now we're gonna come back with these little handy dandy salt and pepper shakers. And what did I tell you we were gonna do? Very simple, salt and pepper only. So we're gonna put old school, salt and pepper.
Now this isn't old school with these salt and pepper shakers.
Until you run out of batteries and then you have to twist it. Again, I'm lazy, so I like this automated version. So this makes it go faster. Plus you're not near as tired and you don't drink near as much beer. Boom. You're gonna flip those over. We're gonna do the same thing all over again. Now, seasoned, olive oil, salt, pepper, time to go to the grill. Okay folks, we're at the grill. As you can see, perfectly seasoned, ready to go. I'm gonna put the ribeye on. She's gonna cook the T-bone. I'm gonna raise the lid. I'm gonna take my ribeye and I'm gonna put it right here.
Well, maybe I'll take this, Stephen.
And she's gonna put that on. You can hear the sizzle. You can hear the fire going. We've got a 500-degree temperature, and we're using grill grates. What are grill grates, you say? You look at the grill grates, and what they are is flat metal with holes in them. So at 500 degrees, you know that as the 500 degrees, the flame will shoot through the grates. Well, these have small holes in it, so the heat comes up, hits the bottom of the grate, and then has to go up the rail and release. So if my temperature, ambient temperature, is 500 degrees at the bottom of that grill, then what it's going to do is because it has to release at a smaller point, there's more heat going to release. That's going to be 100 degrees hotter than the ambient temperature. So if the temperature says I'm 500 degrees, these grill grates are going to say I'm at 600 degrees. So if I were to use a thermopin and check that, or scan and check that, I would be at 600 degrees at the surface. Well, what I'm going to do is I want to catch some of that flavor. So we're going to close the lid, and what I'm going to do is that's a 1-inch thick steak. So a 1-inch thick steak at 500 degrees, I can do it 1.5 minutes. We're only going to flip it one time. The key today is flipping your steaks only once. We have a tendency to go out and look at it and flip it and flip it and flip it. Well, what happens is the heat pushes the moisture to the surface of the meat. And as it does that, every time we flip it, it gets drier and drier and drier. So what we're going to do is a minute and a half, we are going to turn it. So once we turn it, then we're only going to turn it 90 degrees so we get those crisscross grill marks. You're going to see what I'm talking about in just a second. And then when we do it, you're going to be so happy, you're going to run out and buy the grill grates. Remember I told you I was going to make you better than your neighbor? That's one of the tricks. Go get you a set of grill grates. You can use them on charcoal grills, you can use them on gas grills, any grill you have. You can make one in the backyard over concrete blocks. It'll still work perfect. So we're going to let this go. We're going to time it. We're going to be back to see you in just a second. Okay, folks, we're back. It's been a minute and a half. We're not going to flip the steaks. We're going to turn them. So what we're going to do is I'm going to take my ribeye and I'm going to turn it. Rachel's going to take hers, and we're only going to turn it 90 degrees. I'm not going to show you those grill marks because I don't want you looking yet. So we're going to turn it. I make sure that it's making contact with the grate. We don't want to push it down. We don't want it to dry out. But I'm going to let this go. We're going to time this a minute and a half, and then we're going to flip. So hang on a second. We'll see you in a minute and a half. Okay, folks, we're back. Our minute and a half's up. We're going to flip them this time. So what we're going to do is we're going to come in and we're going to flip them exactly where they are. Look at these beautiful grill marks. Okay, as you can see, look at the grill marks. The meat, nice and gray. We've got the grill marks, and look at the texture. So we're going to have a nice steak. As you can see, it's still pink on the inside. So we're going to do this for a minute and a half. We're going to turn it. We're going to put more grill marks on it. We're going to take it off, let it rest, and then we're going to be ready to eat this bad boy. Okay, folks, we're back. Minute and a half's up. We've already flipped them. We're going to turn it. This is our last turn. So we're going to turn this 90 degrees. We're going to come in, grab our steaks, turn them 90 degrees, put them back down, make contact with our grill marks, our grill grates. We're going to have some really beautiful grill marks. This steak's coming along really nicely. Minute and a half later, we're going to have the best steak your neighbor's ever seen. Okay, folks, we're back. It's time to tell. Looks like we've done an excellent job here. I'm going to see how Rachel did with her steak. We're going to see how I did with mine. We're going to take them, put them right on the platter. Look at that. Beautiful. Feel the firmness? Mm-hmm. Feel how firm it is? Come over here, feel how fleshy it is. Now come to the center of this.
Oh, wow.
See the difference?
Yeah.
It's gonna be rare. You take your finger, go to the base of your thumb, and push. With no pressure, no anything. Take your finger and your thumb. That's rare.
Okay.
Medium rare. Medium. And don't invite these people back. Moment of truth. We're gonna cut this steak. We're gonna be looking at it. We let it rest. People always say to go in and let it rest for a little bit. So the key to it is, rule of thumb, let it rest 20% of the time you cook it. So if we cook this for 12 minutes or 20 minutes, we're gonna let it rest for 4 minutes. We've let it rest. We've got our salt and pepper on it. I'm gonna slide this tray up. So what's gonna happen is we check this, we know that's gonna be a little more done than this part.
Okay.
So we're gonna take our tongs, and what I like to do is find that bone, come down. For those that like it rare, you're gonna love this steak. For those that like it well done, we're gonna put it back on. Then we're gonna put it back on the plate just like so, and we would serve it up just like that. We're gonna take the ribeye. Again, remember that fat cap we talked about? If I don't need another bite of the steak, I would cut this part off. Cut the fat out of it. A lot of people like fat. That's the reason it's a heart attack on the plate. And this would be my sternalis muscle. This would be the part you could cut with a butter knife. See how pink that is? Hot pink center. Perfectly cooked medium steak. Time to enjoy.